Hello Forex trader, this is Chris speaking with the weekly Forex recap. This video will analyze the bearish US dollar after the NFP event of last week Friday. Specifically, euro dollar, pound, dollar yen, AUDUSD is in our focus. But be aware that this video is intended for a global audience and may not be suitable for everyone. Find out more details and conditions in the link here. Select your country residence and contact an appropriate entity. Also, trading for exchange is considered high risk and may not be suitable for everyone. Please contact an independent financial advisor for more information on that. By continuing watching this video, you agree with the risk disclaimer and are aware of the risks involved in foreign exchange. First currency pair on the list is this pound versus US dollar, and we can see, of course, 3 weeks ago a big bullish candle on the US dollar here, on the pound US dollar I should say, and that of course was the FOMC event spiking, giving ammunition for a dollar bearish move. Last week we saw the NFP event also coming in with unexpected disappointing news, lower than the expectations, far lower, and we saw dollar bearishness based on that, not only against the pound but against the euro, Aussie and yen. Today is a public holiday in much of Europe, so it could be a very slow day. And also, of course, we have the FOMC event again on Wednesday, so it could be a bit of a slower start of this week. But last week we did see a bullish candle yet again, not as big as 3 weeks ago, but certainly an indication that the downside, the bearish trend that we do have, because if you look at these moving averages, we see a clear downtrend in play on this weekly chart, that could be struggling at the 146, 147.50 support levels. And when we look at these weekly candles, that is certainly looking so. So with that struggle, you can see price trying to break out of this trend line. Actually, it did so on Friday. It broke out of this green resistance trend line and is now pushing to higher highs here. So it's certainly looking like a bullish break at this moment, and we're going to probably see a bigger correction on the pound dollar to the upside despite the bigger downtrend on the weekly chart. So to me, we do still have key resistance, of course, at these tops at 150 and 150, but up to those levels, there's potential continuation when looking at lower time frames for further upside. And once we break above 150, we're specifically looking at these targets at 153 and 155 at potential upside targets. 155 is also a bigger resistance spot right in here. Looking at the weekly tops or daily top here, you see 155, around 155.40. So that is the space. Personally, I would not go long now because it's too close to the 150, excuse me. But if it does retrace, for instance, to these broken tops at 148.60, that could be an interesting bouncing spot for upside. So I'll take a look at that level to see if price can make it back to 148.75 for a long. Personally, that could be an interesting level. Or if it does break above 150. Not necessarily for an immediate entry order, but I was thinking more for a break and then a pullback and continue, and also to see how the break occurs. So for me, a pullback and or a break and then looking for a pullback are the ideas here for continuation of the pound dollar long and kind of reversal upside that we are seeing now. Before continuing with the other currency pairs, please be aware of the special deposit bonus throughout April. You can register here through the link and find out more about the conditions and details. So take a look to get a good, interesting bonus, and you can find out more info once again via this link. Next on the list is the AUDUSD. This is the weekly chart, and obviously we see a strong downtrend when looking at the moving averages. Also the oscillator here showing lots of bearish strength. But when zooming into the daily chart, we do see a bit of a struggle. Prior to that struggle, we see a very clear downside. But now price is more or less going sideways. But it is breaking the highs and it is breaking the lows. So the chart pattern is suspiciously looking like an expanding wedge. That is what it's now looking at. And in my opinion, this is potentially going back all the way to the top of this triangle, this trend line basically, and this expanding triangle. So if we conclude that this is the first part, the A, this is the B, this is the C, this is the D. This could be a final push up before it starts falling down, for instance. Now, of course, this upside is a highly counter-trend trade. So that is very dangerous and always has its risks. But we do see that the dollar is weakening across the board against other pairs as well. So basically that upside potential is there. The Aussie, though, we have to realize does have an interest rate announcement this week, and also, of course, faces the FOMC statement on Wednesday. Plus, today is a bank holiday in Europe. So with that said, I think that caution is very wise at this point. Technically speaking, I think there is a potential for upside bouncing off the support, but until these big news events are over with, there's definitely going to be a lot of insecurity and unsureness here on this AUDUSD. When zooming into the 4-hour chart, for instance, you can see that the moving averages are flat, indicating already some kind of indecision at this moment. So key level probably around the 77 area here at the moment. You can see that this is kind of the support level that we're looking at, resistance level that we're looking at on the AUDUSD. Soon we'll continue with the dollar yen and the euro dollar, but first of all I want to give you a heads up of the webinars this week. Weekly FX recap on Mondays as always, and Tuesday, Wednesday, live trading room and Forex strategy in the morning. That is the morning GMT time. And then Wednesday evening, expert opinion, market conditions that you should avoid and not avoid. Plus Thursday evening, a pro learning lab. We're taking a look at avoiding nervousness when in a trade. So a great lineup. Hope to see you in one of these webinars sometime soon. The euro dollar weekly chart is no different than any of the pairs that we've seen so far. In a downtrend, but price action is bullish and indicating the potential to bounce. That is the main story here on the dollar, and the euro is no different. There is some difference with the pound that the euro has already bounced to the upside more aggressively. It is already approaching the previous resistance of 110.40. And you can see that in that regard, it has more likelihood of breaking to the upside. And you can see prices pushing very close to this resistance spot. If it does break, the target will be 112.25, 112.12, sorry, 112, and after that 114, 114.25. Those are the main targets for the upside. Ultimately, I think that for the moment, a pullback here to 109.25 will be more pleasant for me. That is the current level that I'm looking for at this moment, and would not be looking to trade it right now because it's too close to resistance. Personally, like 109.25 a bit more, with a stop loss a bit lower here below 107.50. Or it has to break above resistance, and then I have to see how it breaks, look for a pullback, and try to find the space up to that next target. So yes, your dollar is looking bullish, looking for upside continuation, but not trading it right now, right here. Last but not least, the dollar yen looking at a double top potentially at this moment, and price probably going to correct this particular movement here. For instance, it's possible that price could go back to the 38.2 fib before continuing one more time with the uptrend on the dollar yen. Definitely in a very big uptrend for a couple of years now, and recently also a good momentum to the upside. So this is a consolidation, and I wouldn't be surprised if the consolidation stops once again at the 23.6 fib or the 38.2 fib, and then it continues. So in that regard, more downside is possible to retrace lower and deeper. And for the moment, price is indeed traveling in this downtrend channel like this. And I wouldn't be surprised if price is able to stay in this downtrend channel and continue to lower lows and lower highs. And in that regard, it's similar to the euro dollar, and could put a fib on like this. I would expect a turn perhaps already at the 38.2 or even at the 50 for more downside. Personally, I like the euro dollar and the Aussie perhaps a bit more than this dollar yen, but it is the same structure in this regard. So thanks for joining us in this weekly Forex recap. Hope to see you in one of the webinars sometime soon, and wish you all happy hunting. Cheers.